This is the Algebra 1 spiral, number 12 on functions. Number 1 asks us, is it a function or not, and explain why. Well, let's see. All of the x's, as far as I can tell, are different. So yes, you would say each x has one y, or each input has one output. Number 2, is it a function? Well, to me it looks like it's not. Well, careful. 2 and 6 and 2 and 6 is okay, but 2 is also with 5. So the answer is no. 2 has really only 2 in this case, but more than one output. Again, in order to be a function, each x has to have exactly one y. Number 3, is it a function? The answer is no. 1 has 2 outputs, or 2 y's. Number 4, is this a function? The answer is no. It fails the vertical line test. Working towards evaluating, if this is my defined function, find f of 2. That means where x was, we're now putting 2. So wherever we see an x, we now put 2. It's 4 minus 6, or negative 2. The answer is negative 2. Don't continue going any further. The answer is just negative 2. I've seen students go, oh, this is f times 2. And then they go, oh, let me divide by 2. No, don't do that. It's saying f of 2 is negative 2. Number 6, find the x and y intercepts of the following. F of x equals 1 half x minus 2. F of x, as you know, is just a fancy way of saying y, so 1 half x minus 2. To find the x-intercept, that means y is equal to 0. And to find the y-intercept, that means that x is equal to 0. Well, let's do the y-intercept first. The y-intercept, or the b, is equal to 0 comma negative 2. It's just right there. It's in y equals whatever it's supposed to be formed. Y equals 1 half x minus 2. On the other hand, the x-intercept is a little more difficult. The x-intercept means that y is 0. 0 equals 1 half x minus 2. Add 2, add 2 to solve. 1 half x equals 2. Multiply by the reciprocal, which is times 2 over 1. X equals 4. So 4 is my, or actually 4 comma 0. That is my x-intercept, and 0 comma negative 2 is my y-intercept. For number 7, the domain and the range. The domain is just all of the x's. So it's 3, 4, negative 2, and 7. The range is 7, 4, and 2. We only list it once. Determine the domain and the range. Again, the domain is your input, which is 0, 1, 2, and 3. And the range is all of the possible outputs, which is negative 2, 1, 2, and 4. And it's that easy. Number 9, determine the domain of the following. Okay, domain, this is where we got to get a little bit tricky, is all of the x's such that we always eat to our right. And this represents how far to the left it goes. This represents how far to the right it goes. How far left does this graph go? If you want to use a highlighter, you can do that and that. It goes to the left, 0. You might say, I can understand if you say that this, we're still at the left, is 0. You might say that it goes to the right forever because it's implied that there's an arrow on the end. If it's implied there's an arrow on the end, then you would not put anything here and you'd be done. But if you want to say that it's restricted to 5, then you would put a 5. Is there a line underneath? Is there not a line underneath? Hard to tell without any dots. I would be safe and just put a line underneath for those. It'd be 0, excuse me, this would be 5. 0 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 5. On the spiral, it will be much more obvious. Determine the domain and the range of the following. Domain is just all of my x's. It crosses at 1, 2, 3, looks like negative 4, negative 3, negative 2, at 0, at 3, and at 4. It's not all the spots in between, it's just these particular points. So you can't do the same continuous like that is. It's just the spots in between. Range, similarly, how far down does it go? 1, 2, negative 3, hits at negative 2, hits at 0, hits at 1, hits at 3, and hits at 4. And the last two, 11 and 12. 11 says, what's the range of the function given this domain? Given these domains or x's, what's its range? Well, that's easy. We just plug in. F of x equals 5x plus 8. So we just plug in these x's. When I plug in -4, 5 times -4 plus 8 is -20 plus 8, or -12. That's one of the range members. 5 times now -2 plus 8 is -10 plus 8, or -2. 5 times 1 plus 8 is 5 plus 8, or 13. And finally, 5 times 5 plus 8, which is 25 plus 8, or 33. So my range would be -12, -2, 13, and 33. 12 says, given this, evaluate f of -3. Again, where x was is now -3. So everywhere where I see x, I'm going to put -3. It's important to use parentheses and follow order of operations. I just plugged in with parentheses. When do we follow order of operations? Always. So this is not -6 squared. Squaring comes before anything else. -3 squared is a -3 times a negative. A negative times a negative is a positive. Again, 3 times 3 is 9, not 6. Minus 7 times -3 plus 1. This is 18 minus 7 times -3 plus 1. 18 and -7 times a -3, or you could keep change. Either way, it's a -7 times a -3 is a positive 21 plus 1, which is 39 plus 1, or 40 for question 12.